Well, hello everybody, how's it going? Timmeister here, and welcome to a brand new Let's Play series. We're going to be playing Foundation. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Foundation, it's a gridless, laid-back medieval city-building game with a focus on organic development, monument construction, and resource management. The game has just released on January 31st, 2025, so it's brand new, and it was developed by Polymorph Games out of Quebec. Now, if you've ever watched one of my Manor Lords videos, you're going to notice that Foundation has a lot of similarities. And this is a game I've been really excited about. I've been following this game ever since it came out as an early access game on Steam, and it has finally released as a full-fledged game. And I finally bit the bullet after all these years and decided to purchase it for myself. And I couldn't be more excited to jump into it and run through a Let's Play with you guys. Now, so far, I've just ran through some pretty basic tutorials, just kind of went through a bunch of early game stuff, just to familiarize myself with the game. And with all that being said, let's jump right into a new game, where the very first thing we're presented with is our map options. So yes, in Foundation, you can totally customize your map to your liking. You have 3 presets to start off with. You have Coastal, Fluvial, which is a river running through the map, or Hills, where the only bodies of water you have access to are little lakes. For this Let's Play, I'm going to be playing on a coastal map. And then down below here, we have all of these parameters that we can adjust. We can add water if we want. We can add more lakes, adjust cliffs, and just mess around a lot with the topography. Now, I've already gone ahead and built a map that I really like, so I'm going to go ahead with this one here. So, you know, we have a number of small islands here. We have some beautiful coastline and a couple of lakes. And we also have a nice flat, well, relatively flat area in the middle of the map here that should make building pretty straightforward. Next, we're gonna go into our rules, where you can totally customize your gameplay. Now, I'm going to leave everything on classic here, and I have turned off the tutorials just so, you know, I'm not going to bore you guys with that. I've already kind of ran through a lot of it. So we're going to leave this as is. And then next is our aspiration. So what do we aspire to do in our city? Well, we have 4 choices. We can build a prestigious burg, where you have a bunch of set requirements in order to, so to speak, finish the game. We can build a prosperous priory, or build a mighty stronghold. But for this gameplay, we're just going to relax and play on our own. We're going to play this game as if we're playing City Skylines or Manor Lords or that kind of thing. You know, we're just going to kind of flow through the creation of our city. Next up is we need to describe our village. So this game, similar to Manor Lords, lets you totally customize your little empire. You can make an emblem, you can name your village as well as your ruler's title. First thing you might have noticed right off the bat is I've created a shield that looks eerily similar to the flag of Nova Scotia. Funny enough, when I was booting up this map, I was presented with a shield that already kind of looked like it, and I decided to just go with it. Now, I don't live in Nova Scotia. I live about 30 minutes from the border to Nova Scotia. So, you know, but for this Let's Play, you know what, we're going to go for this shield. It looks really cool. So we're going to go with that. So our village name is Karlstad, and our ruler is Albrecht. Without further ado, let's start our brand new game. Alright guys, here we go on our brand new map. I think this is going to be a pretty fun playthrough because we've got some nice beaches here. We have a number of small islands that we can build on with some beautiful hills in the background. I think it's going to be fun. But before we choose any starting tile, we need to consider what resources we're going to have access to. So for example, within this tile, I have some stone right here, which is an extractable resource. And I've got some berry bushes over here that can be used for food. Now, unfortunately, despite having a lot of water within this tile, I don't have access to any fish. If I needed fish, I would have to go over here, but then this is on an island, and I don't really know how new people, new settlers, are going to get to our town if we start it over here. And instead, I have over in this corner, oof, this looks like a pretty steep hill to build on. I think I'm probably better off starting on this tile despite more than half of it being kind of unusable because, you know, we don't really want to build on a beach either. So we're going to go for it. Of course, your very first tile is completely free, so you can simply just click on it and away you go. Now, let's start building. The very first building that we have to construct is our village center. This is essentially our spawn where your settlers will found your little hamlet. So I'm gonna plop it, I suppose, right over here in between these flowers. This will look pretty nice. And then we're gonna go ahead and build it. And there we go, we have founded the hamlet of Mosswick. Absolutely fantastic. So we start with a bunch of buildings. Okay, so we've unlocked a set of basic buildings to get us started. And on top of that, we have a population of 10 to start with. And unfortunately, our settlers are pretty unhappy right now. The first thing that we must do is tend to our citizens' needs. So we'll have to build them housing, provide them with water and various services. And this is done through a variety of buildings. So the very first building you're going to want to build is a builder's workshop. And kind of ironically, we need to construct this building to allow our citizens to then go out and build additional buildings. So before plopping down a building, you can see the cost down below here. So this is 5 wood. In our resource stockpile, we start with 60 wood, so plenty. And this is the only building in the game that I believe, that I know of, that instantly constructs. So once this is built, you can see here that we have 3 worker slots, and to assign workers, we can simply hit the little plus icon. I'm just gonna fill in the 3 slots because we're gonna be building a ton of different things here to get started. Second thing I'm going to build is a lumber camp, and this is going to be the building used to chop down some trees in order to provide us with lumber. And this building actually cost us 10 coins, but that's fine. We start with 450, so we're all good. Now what's going to happen is our builders here are going to go into our starting stockpile with 55 wood, and they're going to use some of that wood to construct our lumber camp. So I can preemptively go ahead and assign 3 workers to our lumber camp, and just like that, it is complete. So now what is going to happen is my little workers are going to get to work chopping down some trees, but not before building ourselves a wood cutting zone. All right, so this is necessary to tell my workers where to go in order to start extracting these trees. So I'm just gonna kind of go throughout this whole area and start chopping down some trees. Now, above all of this, we have insufficient housing. Of course, all of our citizens need somewhere to live. So we're going to get into our second zone here, which is residential, and we're just going to paint some residential areas, I guess, all around here. I don't have a ton of room to play around with to get started, but at the same time, I only have 10 population, so I think we'll have enough room to get these people. Where are you going, buddy? Transporting wood for construction. Well, where are you building? Are you building your house right on the beach? Oh my god. That's crazy. All right, and what else do we got going on here? Well, of course, our people need drinking water, so we're going to want to build a well. However, a well requires stone to be constructed, so I think the next building in line is going to be a stone cutter. And I have a little stone deposit right over here. And by the way, so when you're plopping down a building, you have these little white triangles. This just means the entrance and exit of this building is where these little arrows are. So I'm just going to flip it around just to make it a bit more accessible. And there we go. Our stone cutter is going to get built here in not too long. Oh, what do we got here? 1 free territory to redeem. Okay, we can actually buy another free territory. Where do we want? Oh, does this one have the fish? Oh no, the fish is here. It's on the next territory. I don't think we can access the fish from an adjacent territory. I think we actually have to own it for us to be able to extract that. But what do I do? What do I do? Do I purchase this one? This one, we've got some stone here and more berry bushes. Or do I want this over here? Well, I should probably start with this one because this one's not really accessible unless they go onto the beach. So I'm going to purchase this one. Oh, and look at that. We got some new folks trying to move in. Now, at any time when you have new folks walking up to your town, you can accept them by simply clicking on this icon. Or if your town is too full, or for whatever reason you don't want to let new settlers in, you can simply ignore them, and then this little yellow bar here is going to deplete, and then they're just going to turn around and go back. So we're going to accept them because ultimately we want some new settlers to move in. But that is going to also mean that I'm going to need to provide some extra housing zones. So let's start a new housing zone over in this corner over here. And it appears we have a nice hill that we can build on. I think I have a pretty cool idea what I want to build on this hill, because this is probably going to be the highest point in most of our town. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and build a second lumber camp right on the peak of this hill. And I am going to paint a new wood cutting zone. So then we're going to start extracting these trees. And then on top of this hill, I'm going to build something pretty cool, I think. I have an idea. All right. I think we're off to a pretty fair start. What else do we need to build? I think I should go ahead and build a sawmill. Now, a sawmill, what we need this for is we're going to convert these rough logs here, so this rough lumber that we collect directly from the trees. We need to convert them into planks to build various things. So I'm going to go ahead and build one of these. Probably, I guess, in the back over here, right behind our lumber camp. So this is going to cost us an extra 10 coins, so we're down to 410. I think we're still doing okay for now. There, look at that. We got a bunch of houses that have established themselves along the beach. Beautiful. I could probably expand this zone a little bit farther onto the beach. So if there's some people who might want to, you know, live a little bit more dangerously and live right on the beach, I suppose we could let them. You know, there's no zoning laws in medieval times, right? Well, maybe there are, but not that I'm familiar with. Okay, yeah, so I'm sure we've probably collected a fair amount of... Oh, no, we haven't at all. I better assign some workers to our stone cutters camp. So we're going to start collecting some stone because I better get some water into town. There we go. So we're going to build a well right in the city center. And we're starting to run pretty low on food as we only have berries. So I'm going to build a gathering hut right about here, right beside these berry bushes. And I think we're actually going to want to prioritize this building over everything else, because the last thing we need is for our citizens to run out of food. So by prioritizing this building, of course, our citizens are just going to start building this before everything else. There. And I think I'm going to accelerate the simulation to 2 times. I like to play at 2x just because I find it's a good speed. You know, it's not too quick, it's not too slow. Generally, I find this is the most comfortable speed to play at. Oh, and of course, over here, we need to assign some workers to our lumber camp. You know, we've got plenty of workers to go around. So our population is up to 12. We're still massively unhappy, but I mean, this is just a matter of time before all of our needs are met. We have 1 unemployed villager, which is not a huge problem because we're constantly building new things. Oh, we got a new person looking to move in, and we can quickly assign them to our brand new gathering hut. So these folks are going to go into the gathering hut and then go out to collect berries as they're doing right now. So keeping on going through our windows here, we can see that the I'm not even sure what this means. Immigration is average, but I think this window basically just gives us a global overview of how we're doing overall, because our happiness is low, employment is high, and our next wave of immigration is coming in 2 days. So this is just a quick at-a-glance window to see how your town is going. Over here in our progression menu, I guess we'll talk about that. We have various, I guess, progression items that we'll collect as we expand the city and unlock new things. So we have labor splendor, labor influence. We have kingdom splendor, kingdom influence, and then clergy splendor and influence. So these are coins that we will accumulate as we do various little missions and things. And then, of course, we have our prosperity rating, which is weighed by all of the factors below. So we have the amount of territory that we own, the amount of population that we have, and then, you know, various new things are going to come up, contributing to our prosperity. So there we go. I think we're doing all right. Our gathering hut is complete. Now you can see if I click on my gathering hut, we have collected 15 out of 50 berries. Now every building in the game has a storage limit. So once we hit the limit of berries, essentially the workers that are employed by collecting berries are just going to sit around and do nothing. So we don't want that. And we also want to be able to sell our berries. So what we're going to do is build a market stall. So we're going to plop a food stall right here in the center of our village. And in addition to plopping a food stall, you can upgrade them with a tent that gives you various perks depending on which tent you want to plop down. Just be mindful that there are some tents that are a lot more expensive than others. In this case, just to, you know, save on some money, I'm just going to plop down a rustic tent to begin with. There, so we'll just wait until this is done construction, and then we'll assign a worker to man this tent. Although I don't have any unemployment right now, so we're gonna have to steal some folks from some other jobs. And this is exactly what we're seeing here in our sawmill. So as you can see, we're unable to assign any new workers, so we're gonna have to go poach. Maybe, oh, I've got 2 workers here. Oh, wait a minute. Oh my god, I've got 3 workers per lumber camp. Let's go ahead and unassign 1 worker from each, and then we're going to reassign them to our sawmill. So we're going to start to convert some of our rough lumber into planks, which will allow us to build some more advanced buildings. So here we go. We've got some more settlers moving in. Absolutely wonderful. And are they going to establish themselves on the beach? It appears so. Look at that. Some brave souls building right on the beach sand. Oh, look at that. Our market stall is almost complete. So we can preemptively assign a worker. And what we want to make sure we do as well is assign a resource to be sold. So right now, the only thing we have available to sell is berries. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So everybody's going to be living on nothing but berries. And as we do that, Mosswick has now become a village. Perfect. At this point, it's probably a good time to take a look at our progression menu, as we have a ton of different things that we can unlock here. You can see that there's different tiers that require various levels of prosperity. Tier 1, I guess, requires 0, as long as you have enough money to unlock all of these. So let's take a look here at our common path. Storage is always a really good option to unlock first, because the last thing you want is all of your resource collecting buildings to be full. And by plopping a storage building, it essentially gives you more storage on top of that. So I think I'm going to go ahead and unlock the storage technology, unlocking us both a storage building as well as a granary. And in addition to all of this, I'm probably going to want to consider unlocking the manor house, as we're going to want to start taxing our people. And there we go, we've unlocked the manor house, which we can use as either a great hall, which is a seat for the ruling class essentially, or we can assign it to be a tax office. Now, oops. Now if I exit out of this menu, oh, what's going on here? We already have somebody having something to say. Collecting taxes. The villagers were concerned they might not have enough coins to develop a prosperous village. After much deliberation, they decided to build a tax office to contribute by sharing some of their earnings through house tax. All right. So, oh yes. Now in the game, as you progress, you're going to be presented with these little pieces of advice, and there's usually one of two things you can choose to do. You can continue on your own and just never mind what came up, or you can be assigned these little missions, I like to call them, and I like to do them because it just kind of gives you a set of goals and tasks that you need to set out to achieve. So I'm gonna actually go through with this, and part of this mission is building the tax office. You don't really gain anything from doing this. It's just kind of a little checklist that you got to run through. So I'm gonna start off by building my granary and my warehouse, as these people are gonna continue chopping down this forest. And if you haven't guessed it yet, this is where we're gonna build our tax office, as it's kind of like a government kind of building. I think it's fitting to have it on top of this hill. That would look pretty cool. So we'll get into that in just another moment here, the manor house. So first, let's start off with a granary, which I'm going to go ahead and plop. I guess right here is a perfect location. I'm just going to spin it around, move it a little bit so it fits all nice and neat, and there we go. And then on top of that, let's place a warehouse. We have a clearing in the trees over here. Let's go ahead and plop our warehouse right about here. Now, the difference between the granary and the warehouse is in the granary, well, I mean, it might be a little self-explanatory, but the granary is where food is stored. So our berries and eventually fish and everything else, every other type of food that we're going to collect will be stored in the granary. The warehouse is going to be for lumber, stone, all of like the hard materials we use to build houses. So I'm going to preemptively... Oh no, I only have one unemployed villager. So we're going to have to poach some villagers from elsewhere. I'm not really sure where, though. That's the problem. We might just have to wait until some new folks are moving in. I think we have one additional person moving in, and then we're going to have to wait 4 days for the next round of immigration. Oh, wow. Just like that, our granary is complete. So let's go ahead and assign one person to this. We'll accept this new person. And in our granary, we'll go ahead and store berries. So I think one person in the granary should suffice for now anyways, since we only have berries to store. So what this person is going to do is collect all of the berries available in our gathering hut, which is 0 at the moment because they're being sold at the market. But they're going to collect whatever they can and bring them into the granary. And I'm going to go ahead and assign one person to the warehouse. And we'll just have to wait one more moment here for all of our materials to be collected. So at this point, we're just waiting on one more plank. How are our planks coming along? Oh, you're cooking up one right there. All right. And now our warehouse is under construction. Perfect. Everything is lining up just perfectly in this run through, guys. It's amazing. And I'm just waiting for the warehouse to complete to go ahead and assign some resources. So we're gonna do wood, we're gonna do planks, we're gonna do stone, and do I do tools or cloth? I think I'm gonna do tools, as it's a pretty frequently used item. So at this point, we still have quite a few trees to cut down, but I'd really like to start building my tax office on the top of this hill. And what good timing, our monthly report just came in showing us that we're losing a ton of money. So last month we lost 85 coins, mostly all due to construction, which is totally normal when you're just starting out because you're just constantly buying buildings and land, and you know, it's just the way it goes. But yeah, as I was explaining early on, there's multiple ways of collecting money for your village, one of which is taxation. So to do that, we have to build our tax office, or what we can do is establish a trade route with some neighboring villages. For example, here, I could establish a trade route with Northbury, and to unlock it, I'm gonna need to come up with 25 planks. And essentially the way this works is this is the list of materials we can buy from Northbury, and this is the list of materials we can sell for them, including the amount per item. So before establishing a trade route, you're really going to want to consider what do you need and what can you sell? What does, you know, Northbury need? For now, I think I'm going to abstain from a trade route. I think taxation is probably going to be the way to go for this playthrough, as I don't really have a lot of materials to sell at the moment. Plus, I don't have any fish. Yeah, so I'm gonna go for the tax option. And look at that, we got some new citizens that are moving in. Let's assign one to the warehouse, and yeah, I guess one to the granary for now. And now what I'm going to do next is I'm actually going to demolish my lumber camp, as I've cleared a pretty decent area on top of my hill. And let's go ahead and construct our manor house, which is going to become our tax office. Now, along with a lot of these bigger government buildings that you can plop down, they are totally customizable. Now, the first thing we're going to need to actually get this building to be functional is a manor hall. So I'm going to go ahead and plop it. Well, let's go ahead right here on top of this hill. And then along with it, we're going to have to provide an entrance, of course. So I'm going to plop the entrance here because I think I have a pretty cool idea of how I want this to look. And if we check down here in our little advice window, so we need to build a tax office first of all, but one of the objectives that we have is build a tax office that has a manor tower miner. This is optional, but I'm gonna go for it. So we're gonna attach our miner tower here, and I'm just gonna bump it up. Yeah, I'd say up to about that height. And then we're going to include a chimney, which I don't think actually serves a purpose. Maybe it does, but I think a lot of these items are totally aesthetic. As long as you have the minor or the manor hall, that's really the only requirement. Maybe an entrance as well could be useful. But over here, if we scroll a little bit to the right, you can see that some of these icons have this little diamond icon. And what this is if we plop these add-ons onto our manor house, they will actually contribute to labor splendor, which we can then spend, I believe, for various items. So I'm gonna go ahead here and build a simple passageway. And let's turn this around just like this. And oh yeah, that's gonna look super cool, especially with the path going right through here. That is going to be awesome. And then let's also build a weather vane, which I am going to plop on top of the tower. So then all of the cities, all of the villagers will be able to tell the direction the wind is blowing. And then what do we got here too? We've got a roof stable. I guess that might be pretty cool. Maybe if I plop it like this, that might be pretty neat. And what else? You know, we've got some fences and a wooden shed. I think I'm okay with that. So before you construct this building, it's probably a good idea to consider how expensive your building is going to be. So you can see here that if I were to hit build, this is going to cost us 83 planks, 32 stone, 16 tools. So it's awful expensive. And these buildings are built in multiple stages. So, you know, it's fine. It just means that the construction is going to take a little longer. So I'm going to go for it. At least it doesn't cost us any money. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter how big the building gets. It just means it'll take a bit longer to start construction. Oh, we got some new citizens wanting to move in. Perfect. How much room do I have to build residential areas? Let's get some more residential areas going in behind here. And maybe over here, I suppose. And then off to this. Oh, no, that's where our manor is going to go. So I'm going to remove that. Now, I'm not too sure about this guy up here. You know, this is just a regular house. And I don't know, I kind of wanted to reserve this hill for just the manor, but I'll leave it for now because we really don't have that much room to spare. All right, so it's basically just a waiting game at this point until our manor is complete. So let's just skip ahead and we'll catch up in just a moment. All right, guys, so our tax office is nearing completion. It is fully functional at this point because I can assign 3 tax collectors if I choose. We're just waiting on a couple of aesthetic pieces. So let's go ahead and do that. We have 3 unemployed citizens. I don't know if I need 3 tax collectors really, but let's at least assign 2. And then perhaps I can assign this 1 unemployed worker somewhere else. Maybe in the warehouse, or no, the lumber camp is full. Granary, we don't really need another person. What about, yeah, I guess the stone cutter camp is a good spot to start. And there we go. So I believe the way that tax collection works is we're not gonna gain taxes just like that. We actually have to set a tax amount, and then our tax collector has to manually go out and knock on doors to collect tax money. So let's get into that as we're waiting for the last little bits and pieces to get put on. Let's lower this back to 2x speed, and we're gonna go into our royal book. And now we've unlocked the taxation tab, and here we can set our tax rate. So to start off with, let's just tick this up a notch and see what we're going to gain from this. So right now, you can see that I am losing 1 coin per month, I believe, or maybe more. Okay, upkeep. Yes, I'm losing 4 coins a month. And by adjusting my taxes, by raising them just 1 tick, I can earn an expected 22 coins a month, which is really good, or up to 6 coins per serf. So we're in the positive. We have a positive cash flow. There's no need to uptick my taxes any further, as it's just going to contribute to more unhappiness. You can see that even with this little uptick here, I'm getting a 5% negative impact on happiness. But that's okay, because our happiness now is up to 57%. Remember when we started this episode, it was flatlined at 0. It's up to 57% now because everybody just has most of their needs met. The next step we're probably going to want to get into, maybe next episode if possible, is getting some refined food. So instead of relying on just fish and berries, maybe we're going to want to consider making some bread, you know, and that's going to contribute to more happiness. Service, I'm not really sure what that is about, but we'll probably figure that out at some point. So let's take a look here. What else can we get our hands on? Because we still have 300 coins to play around with. Let's take a look at our progression. We still have a bunch of stuff that we can unlock here. We can unlock fishing, which is the next thing. But along with fishing, I'm going to have to purchase another tile. So let's go ahead. Let's unlock fishing. And let's take a quick gander here. Let's go into our territory manager. And do we have any fish at all? So the only fish we have access to are from the island, it appears. So to gain access to the closest fish we have, oh, I could purchase this tile, and then I'd have to purchase this one. We'd have 2 fish over here, or I'd have to purchase this tile, and then this tile over here, assuming I can. Is this tile even going to be purchasable? Wow, I'm kind of in a tough spot, guys. I've never not had fish directly adjacent to my first tile or on my first tile. So I'm not really sure what to do, because this is going to cost me 200 in order to get 2 tiles. Maybe what I'm going to do, I'm going to purchase this tile. Okay, and it is possible to purchase this one. So maybe next episode we'll consider purchasing this tile and getting into fish. Oh, we have some more citizens that would love to move in. But at least until we're able to purchase that second tile, I'm going to plop down a little fishing dock over here. Now this one's a little tricky to plop down, but it looks like it'll fit just like this, leaving us with 175 coins. Now, as I was saying earlier, I'm not quite certain if I build a dock here, will I be able to go gather the fish? That it's literally just a couple of feet across this little river. I'm thinking it's not gonna work. I'm thinking I have to actually purchase this tile to be able to fish here. But I don't know. I'm kind of reluctant to spend any more money at this point. Oh, what's going on here? It appears our tax office is totally complete, is it? Oh, I guess we're just waiting on some last little bits and pieces. But let's take a look. What's this about? First tax office. A tax office now stands in the village, promising order and prosperity. Though some villagers might grumble, they know their coins are paving the way to a brighter, safer future for all. Yes, absolutely, we are going to put those tax dollars to good use. There will not be any corruption whatsoever in our town here. And look at that, we've gained 5 labor influence coins. And wow, look at this, guys, we're up to 10, well, almost 10 prosperity. And at 10 prosperity, look at all the nice new things that we're going to unlock. And oh, what's this? We have a courier approaching the town. Okay, well, this is turning out to be a pretty eventful moment. I was about to end this episode, but let's quickly take a look what's. So let's open this up. Earning influence. An isolated community of fishermen is looking for a kind-hearted builder. They need help constructing a bridge to connect their village to the rest of the realm. They don't have much to offer, but they promise to spread the word about your generosity amongst the laborers. So, okay, we have a couple of options here. We can send our best builder, and that will grant us possible outcomes. Oh, okay, so it's not guaranteed. We have 2 outcomes here. We can either get the blueprint is concise, granting us 10, whatever these coins are, labor influence. But we do have a 10% chance of getting 5, which both options are okay. Or we could spend some of our labor, what is it again? Labor influence coins. And this is going to cost us 50 coins. Oh, no. Yeah, I'd rather do this one. Let's do that. Hey, it looks like we got the 10 coins. Awesome. And our fisherman's hut is complete, so we're going to assign a worker. And there we go. Wow, guys, this is really, really exciting. You know what? At this point, I've pretty much built everything there is to build for now. We're just waiting on our prosperity to tick over to 10, so I'm able to unlock all of this. I suppose, why not just purchase this territory? It's going to cost us an additional 5 coins a month, so now we're going to be up to, what, 9 coins a month in upkeep costs? That's going to be probably about half of our tax revenue. But then again, maybe we can establish a trade route to sell some of this fish and maybe sell some of our other resources too. So maybe it might not be so bad. I'm going for it. Oh, wow. And look at that. Common path tier 2 reached. New content available to unlock. And we have another courier approaching. All right. Oh my God, guys, this is crazy. All right, let's read this. Levy funds. Okay, so we're down to 74 coins in our treasury. So your treasury appears to be low these days. As the leader of the village, you have the authority to collect funds from your villagers. However, contributions will be reluctant. Levies should only be used in an urgent situation. Yeah, I don't think we need to resort to that just yet because I believe we're still in a positive cash flow. But let's double check that. If we check our royal book, taxation, yes, we're going to collect up to 24 coins in a month. And on top of that, we have a brand new settler who just moved in who is going to pay taxes as well. So before ending this episode, let's take a look if we can establish a trade route. Oh, it looks like we can establish one with Trotbury by spending some of our, what is this again? Labor influence coins. I'm not going to remember this, guys. But what does Trotbury have that we might need, or what do they need that we have? So we can sell fish to them and clothes. And that's about it. Polished stone, we don't really have at the moment, but we're on the verge of getting because we've ticked over to the next prosperity stage. I think I might go for it. There's nothing we really need from them. Maybe some meat, actually. Oh, but it's awful expensive. Because that would contribute to more happiness. Or would it? I don't know. Maybe it would just provide us with some more food choices. But I think I'm going to go for it. What do we have to lose? Let's do it. All right. So with that being done, what we can now do is go back into our royal book, go into our resources tab. Yep. And now, oh wow, we've already collected 18 fish. So if we go over to our purchase and sales window here, we can sell everything above this value. So by ticking this, and we're going to notch this up to, I guess, 15. So as long as we have over 15 fish in our storage, anything above that will be sold to Trotbury. And anything under it will be kept in our storage for food. And I might actually tick this up to 20 just to make sure that we have enough to go around. And oh, what's this now? Meeting the elders. What is this? The elders, the much respected leading men and women among the region's laborers, heard of your village and wishes to make themselves useful to your people. They brought welcoming gifts, mainly tools, to ease your villagers' lot, then pledged their assistance. Oh, wow. That's awesome, guys. Look, we've gained some tools as well as more labor influence coins. Fantastic. All right. Well, that's always welcome. And now that we have some fish in our little colony here, let's go ahead and build a second market stall right beside this nice little bush here. And I think I'm still going to opt for just a regular rustic tent just because we're kind of running very low on currency right now. So let's go ahead and do that. Perfect. All right, so we're going to sell some fish, and we are going to assign a market tender. And there we go. All right, guys. And some new settlers are moving in. Wonderful. All right, well, I think we're off to a really great start now. You know, we've pretty much completed our task here. The only thing I'm waiting for is probably the 1st of next month. And then we're gonna start collecting taxes from our residences. And like I said earlier, we won't collect 10 coins or whatever it is, how many coins in one shot, because I believe our tax collectors have to manually go out and start knocking on doors and collecting taxes from everybody. Oh, what's this? Influencing others. The fishermen are thankful for the blueprint, as a bridge will help bring their community to the forefront. As thanks, they would like to trade a fair number of fish for some of your stones. All right. So we can spend 5 of our influence coins and gain 50 fish, which we can then sell. So essentially, do I want to trade some of this for some of this? Or do I just tell them keep the fish? Or what do I do here? Most generous offer. Accumulate, pay 25 stone, success. Yeah. All right. Yeah, let's be nice to them. Let's be nice. Here, let's give them some stone. I mean, we have plenty of stone. Awesome, guys. Alrighty, well, I think that is just about going to do it for this episode. I think we've made it far along. And look at that. We've succeeded at following advice. Oh, yes. Awesome. And once again, look at that. We've gained 50 fish. We're up to 91 fish. Oh my god, guys. We're going to be so rich because we're going to sell most of the fish that we've got. And look at that. We've got some fish stalls here. Selling some fish to the local folk. This is awesome. All right, guys. Well, that is going to do it for this episode. I thank you so much for watching, and I hope you're as excited as I am to continue this Foundation series. And if you do enjoy this episode, don't forget to drop a like, drop a comment, let me know what you think. Don't forget to subscribe, of course, and if you're interested in checking out my Patreon, there's some pretty cool perks to be had on there. So guys, I thank you so much once again for watching, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Take care.